beneath these depths, the walls still whisper your name. These pages don't just record history, they rewrite your fate. They no longer serve justice, they serve the flood.
Woke up again last night, not sweating, freezing. Saw it clear as day, on the glass fogged up thick with frost, despite the July heat outside. Like breath, but shaped like a hand with fingers too goddamn long, pressed against the bedroom window from the inside. My name's Ben Carter, Deep Water Recovery Specialist, is what my business cards used to say. Salvage diver is what I actually was. Not anymore. These days, I just sit in this chair by the heater, rubbing my hands raw, watching the door to the basement. I've got this fixation with Havenwood Lake now. Most folks around here don't even remember there was a town down there. Deliberately flooded it in 1973 for the reservoir. Progress, they called it. 63 families relocated. Infrastructure demolished. Valley filled with 200 feet of cold mountain runoff. A whole community just gone, erased. Still shows up on some old maps though. Little dot labeled Havenwood. My grandfather used to tell stories about that place. How the water in the wells would sometimes come up black as ink for days at a time. How livestock would go missing, only to wash up miles downstream, bloodless and stiff. How the church bell would sometimes ring at midnight when nobody was pulling the rope. Just old-timer superstition, I always thought. Until I went down there, lake looks peaceful enough from shore. All picnics and fishing boats. But down below, different story entirely. Streets choked with silt, houses staring empty like skulls. Ghosts made of mud and memory. Water has its own weight down, there its own presence. It watches. 3 weeks back, I took a job from the County Historical Society. Routine documentation dive, they said. One of those rare clear water days when the light cuts deep enough to see. Went down a lone standard procedure for me. Just me. And the crush. And that silence that screams in your ears until your own bubbles sound like boulders falling, and the groans lakes are always groaning. Like old bones, settling. Usually. Found the bank first. Big stone skeleton sitting in the gloom. Its facade crumbling like wet sugar. Vault door Jesus Christ peeled open like a cheap tin can. Water doesn't screw around with human notions of security. Not after 50 years of pressure. I squeezed inside with my light. Blacker than hell in there. Silt's not like regular mud, you know. It's finer, like black flour. Coats everything. Gets in your teeth, breathes in and out with the current. When my fins disturbed it, it rose in slow motion tendrils dancing. That's when I kicked something hard. Metal, I thought. Strongbox maybe? I cleared the muck away with gloved hands, but it wasn't metal. It was a book. Massive ledger. Heavy as sin. Bound in something I couldn't identify felt. Greasy? Like cured hide that had never quite dried, but cold, slick. Things should have been dissolved soup after 5 decades underwater, but it was pristine, like the dark and the pressure had preserved it, pickled it in secrets. Had to bring it up, had to know. Damn fool. Took 3 days to dry it properly, laid it out page by page in my workshop. Stunk up the whole place. Smell like low tide meets wet cardboard that sat too long. Felt heavy just having it nearby. Haven't slept right since keep hearing water moving. Like slow drips inside the walls where no pipes run. First section, just ledger entries. Accounts, dry goods, loans, deposits, mundane small town banking. Nothing worth noting until I reached the final pages. Entries from the 3 months before the flood date. That's where the handwriting changes. Goes. spidery, aggressive. Names I recognized from the Historical Society pamphlets: Judge Corrin, Reverend Marsh, Sheriff Hayward, town pillars. And next to them, these symbols, twisted knots that made my eyes water, trying to focus on them. And payments, massive sums, paid out to something listed only as the below, or occasionally, that which takes. The last entry, dated 3 days before the official evacuation, was different. Just one line, scrawled in what looked like dried brown ink, though I know now it wasn't ink at all. It refuses the payment, demands more. God help us all. Reading those pages felt like deciphering a ransom note to something ancient. A real, ink and paper contract with something that shouldn't exist. Something they tried to bury under billions of gallons of water. Then the damp started. Here, in my house, 30 miles from the lake. Not leaks, not burst pipes. The air itself turned wet, heavy. A cold that bites right through clothes and blankets, settles in your marrow. I rub my hands constantly but can't get warm. Windows fogging up from inside. And the sounds, late at night, muffled voices, like trying to hear through thick ice or deep water. Just the rumble, the pressure of words you can't quite decipher. And that groan, that deep down groan the lake makes. I hear it now. Beneath the floorboards, in the walls, it followed me. That crushing weight, that presence, it latched on. This isn't ghosts. No paranormal event like those TV shows. This feels like being slowly submerged while still breathing air. Ran a bath last night. God, just wanted 5 minutes of warmth. You know? Turned away to grab a towel. Heard it. A definite slosh. Water moving on its own. Looked back. The tub was empty of anything solid, but the surface was trembling. And I saw, just for a second, just a ripple, a darker shape under the water. Too long, too quick, then just gone. Please, if anyone recognizes those symbols, I've attached photos at the bottom. What did they pay for? What did they promise it? I took the book back yesterday. Nearly ran out of air rushing that deep. Shoved it back in that vault where I found it. Left it there in the dark. But the cold? The damp? Still here. Worse, even. Like it found the leaks in the walls. In me. Guess once something from the deep knows you exist, it doesn't need directions anymore, does it? It just rises to meet you. The bathroom door's been locked for 2 days now. Something's moving in the pipes. And last night, I swear, I saw fingers too long, too pale, too many joints skirling around the door frame of my basement. Water finds its level, they say. I think it's found mine. I hear the basement door opening now. Slow creak of hinges thick with rust. My fingers are hovering over posts on this forum. If anyone reads this, don't Jesus Christ, it's here. There's water seeping under my chair. Black water. Cold. Not flowing like it should. Reaching. Like fingers. Like God the smell. Like the lake bottom. Like rot and salt and something so ancient it has no name. Something cold and wet just touched the back of my neck. Something with too many fingers. It whispers now. Voice like water over stones. Says I'm the payment. Says I've always been the payment. Says my bloodline was promised generations ago. Says my grandfather knew when he told those stories, trying to warn me without saying it directly. The town didn't flood the valley to make a reservoir. They did it to contain something, to weigh it down, seal it in. But a door swings both ways, doesn't it? They locked it in, but left the key. That goddamn ledger. My skin feels loose now. Cold. Like something's pushing out from under it. Fingertips gone numb. Can barely type. Water rising. Not from the floor. From inside me. Throat filling. Eyes burning. Black water beating on my arms like sweat. But it's not sweat. They're here. Others. Standing. In my living room. Dripping black. Judge Corin. Reverend Marsh. Sheriff Hayward. 50 years dead, but standing here. Water pouring from their mouths as they smile. Saying I was needed. Saying I was chosen. Saying I'll help them bring the below to the above. If you live near Havenwood Lake, run. It's not contained anymore. I can feel it using me already. My fingers typing these words aren't mine anymore. They're too long, too pale, too many joints. It's coming up. Through me. Through the pipes. Through the groundwater. Through the rain. It's coming for all of Connection Lost.
Like, subscribe and comment.